Hi, hello everyone! I'm Toshi from Japan and tourist guide for foreigners. In this video, I'll show you
15 Japan travel mistakes tourists keep making in 2026.
Many people who visit Japan tend to make the same travel mistakes. These mistakes don't just waste your time and money. They can also unintentionally upset local people. I've lived in Japan for over 30 years and guided more than 300 travelers, and I've noticed a big gap between what people expect and what Japan is really like. So in this video, I'll break down 15 major mistakes you should avoid before your trip, grouped into 3 areas: planning, transportation, and money. Plus, I also offer guided tours in Japan, travel itineraries based on trip duration and area, and recommendations for unique cultural experiences.
You can find more information in the description below. So, let's get started.
Planning. Number 1 is misjudge travel timing. The first major mistake is choosing the wrong travel season. The experience in Japan changes a lot depending on when you visit. Japan has 4 beautiful seasons, but that also means you need to understand them properly. Summer is the biggest challenge. If you're traveling in summer, make sure your schedule is realistic. Japan has become much hotter in recent years, and older travel advice is often outdated. Today, being outside during the daytime can be very difficult. June is humid with a long rainy season, and from July onward, the heat becomes even more intense. If possible, it's better to avoid summer travel. But if you can't, proper preparation is essential. September is also typhoon season, so you should stay updated with real-time weather and disaster apps. And don't forget about public holidays. Golden Week in late April to early May, Obon in August, and New Year's holidays all bring heavy crowds and higher prices. I've covered the best and worst times to visit Japan in another video.
Please check that out if you haven't seen it yet.
Number 2 is internet mistake. Another very common mistake tourists make in Japan is not preparing for internet access. After a long international flight, the last thing you want is to struggle with SIM cards or Wi-Fi setup at the airport. Most major airports in Japan do offer SIM cards, eSIMs, and pocket Wi-Fi rentals. But the problem is, they often come with long lines and higher prices. Airport Wi-Fi can also be slow or unstable, which can quickly become stressful when you just arrived. That's why many experienced travelers prepare everything before they even leave home. With a simple setup in advance, you can connect the moment you land and start your trip smoothly without any stress. I've personally tested several SIM cards, eSIM options, and pocket Wi-Fi services that work well in Japan, and I share my recommendations on my website, including discount codes.
So make sure to check it out and start your Japan trip in the easiest way possible.
Number 3 is skip reservations. If you want to enjoy the best activities in Japan, there's one thing you absolutely need to know. Many popular attractions now require advance reservations. For example, Tokyo Disneyland stopped selling same-day tickets in 2024, and Universal Studios Japan followed in May 2025. Without a reservation, you simply can't get in. There are no ticket counters at the gates. To help you plan, here are 6 must-visit attractions that really need a reservation. Team Lab, Shibuya Sky, Pokemon Cafe, Ghibli Museum, Nintendo Museum, and the Mario Kart experience. Arriving without a booking can mean being turned away or standing in long lines for hours. As a tour guide, I often get last-minute booking requests, but by then tickets are usually sold out. I've also introduced travelers to some truly unique experiences that are worth reserving early. A traditional tea ceremony with freshly brewed matcha, a samurai experience based on 200 years of tradition, sake tasting at a UNESCO World Heritage Brewery, making your own ramen from scratch at a noodle factory, and a sushi making class with a professional chef. If you're interested, I even offer discount codes. Check the link in the description to see all the details on my website and plan your trip smartly.
And if you want the best experiences, book early.
Transportation. Number 4 is underestimate travel time. Another big mistake tourists make in Japan is underestimating travel time, especially when using the Shinkansen. Yes, the bullet train is very fast, but distances can still take longer than people expect. For example, Tokyo to Kyoto takes about 2.5 hours by Shinkansen. Even a short side trip can be misleading. If you want to stop at Hakone to see Mount Fuji, it's about 2 hours from Tokyo. But from Hakone to Kyoto, it still takes around 2.5 hours by Shinkansen, almost the same as going from Tokyo. This is because not all trains operate at the same speed, and transfers can add extra time. Another common misunderstanding is between Kyoto and Osaka. On the map, they look very close, and they are. By local train, it takes around 30 to 40 minutes, and even by Shinkansen, it's only about 15 minutes. But here's the key point. In many cases, the local rapid trains are already fast and convenient, and the Shinkansen can cost more than double, so don't rely on distance on a map.
Always think in terms of actual travel time, not geography.
Number 5 is misunderstand luggage rules. Did you know there are rules for bringing luggage on Japan's Shinkansen? Each passenger can bring up to 2 suitcases, as long as each one is within 250 centimeters in total dimensions and under 30 kilogram in weight. If your suitcase is oversized, over 160 centimeters in total size, you'll need to reserve a special oversized luggage seat in advance. If you don't, you may be charged a fee of around 1,000 yen, and in most cases, you cannot bring it into regular unreserved seats. These rules are updated from time to time, and I'll explain the latest details in the next chapter. For normal-sized luggage, you'll usually place your suitcase in the overhead rack above your seat. It may look a little high, but the design includes a tilt to help prevent it from falling. That said, lifting heavy suitcases can be difficult.
So it's a good idea to distribute weight evenly inside your luggage before traveling.
Number 6 is don't use IC card. Before anything else, get an IC card. This is a must in Tokyo. With an IC card, you don't need to figure out fares or buy tickets every time. Just tap in and out at the gate, and the correct fare is charged automatically. It saves you a huge amount of time and hassle. Compared to paper tickets, it's simply faster and easier. You can use it on local trains, subways, rapid trains, and even most city buses. And it's not just for transportation. You can also pay at convenience stores, restaurants, vending machines, and coin lockers. There are several types, like Suica, Welcome Suica, Pasmo, and Ikuka. They all work basically the same, so don't worry too much about which one you choose. If you have an iPhone 8 or newer, you can even add one directly to your Apple Wallet and use your phone instead of a physical card.
In the next section, I'll quickly show you the differences and which one is the best for you.
Number 7 is which one is the best IC card. In the last section, I told you to get an IC card. But many people ask me the same question. Which one should I choose? There are several options, and it can feel confusing. So in this section, I'll help you choose the best one based on your situation. There are just 2 things you need to consider. First, can you use mobile Suica on your device? If you have an iPhone 8 or newer, you can use it. If you're using a non-Japanese Android phone, you usually can't. If you can use mobile Suica, I highly recommend it. If not, you'll need a physical card. Second, are you planning to come back to Japan soon? This matters because of expiration. Mobile Suica and regular Suica are valid for 10 years after your last use. But Welcome Suica expires in 28 days, and Welcome Suica Mobile expires in 180 days. After they expire, you lose access and any remaining balance. So here's the simple rule. If you plan to come back to Japan, get a regular Suica. If this is your only trip, go with a Welcome Suica. You might be wondering, why not just use a regular Suica every time? Good question. Welcome Suica doesn't require a deposit, and it has a nice design, so it's great as a souvenir. One more thing. If you arrive in cities like Osaka or Fukuoka, you may get a different IC card, and the process can be slightly different.
If you are interested, let me know in the comments. I can make a separate video about that.
If you would like a personal guide in Japan or need recommendations for travel plans and cultural experiences,
Please contact me from the link in the description section.
Number 8 is overpay for Suica. One of the biggest mistakes tourists make in Japan is with Suica cards. There are actually 2 common mistakes. First, don't buy a Suica card in your home country. I've seen tourists pay around $25 before they even arrive. In Japan, a regular Suica only requires a 500 yen deposit, and Welcome Suica has no deposit at all. Buying one overseas usually costs much more than it should. Second, don't load too much money onto a digital Suica. One of my guests added about 20,000 yen to Apple Wallet on the first day because they wanted to be safe. At first, everything was great. They used it for trains, convenience stores, and even vending machines. But at the end of the trip, they still had more than 8,000 yen left. They asked me if they could get a refund. Here's the problem. If you're using a digital Suica in Apple Wallet or Google Wallet, getting a refund is extremely difficult. And once you leave Japan, it's basically impossible. A physical Suica card can sometimes be refunded at a station, minus a small processing fee. But digital Suica is a different story. So here's my advice.
You can always top up anytime, so there is no reason to load too much in advance.
Money. Number 9 is don't exchange money here. In a previous video, I said this: don't exchange money at airports or hotels, because the rates are bad. Go into the city instead. But in 2026, this advice is starting to change. Here's a real example. One of my guests exchanged money in Asakusa, Tokyo, thinking it would be better than the airport because it was more convenient. On the same day, another guest exchanged the same amount of money in Shinjuku. The result was a difference of several thousand yen. The reason is simple. In Japan in 2026, exchange rates in tourist areas are often worse than at the airport. Places like Asakusa in Tokyo or Kuromon Market in Osaka are full of exchange counters and machines with very poor rates. What surprises many travelers is this: even inside the same 7-Eleven, different machines can offer different exchange rates. My recommendation is this: in Tokyo, look around Shinjuku West exit or the Omoide Yokocho area. In Osaka, the Namba area is usually better.
The key takeaway is simple. Don't choose convenience. Check the rate.
Number 10 is Japan's ATM mistake. Here's a quiet way money disappears in Japan, and most tourists never notice it. Convenience store ATMs change their fees depending on the time and the day. One of my guests withdrew cash at a convenience store around 11 p.m. Same ATM, same amount, same card. But later, when they checked the statement, the fee was noticeably higher than when they withdrew cash during the day. The reason is simple. In Japan, ATM fees change by time of day and day of the week. Late at night, early in the morning, and on weekends or holidays, fees are often higher. What makes this tricky is that the fee usually appears only after you insert your card. If you're in a hurry, it's easy to miss and confirm it without realizing. The fix is simple. Withdraw cash during weekday daytime hours and take out what you'll need at once. Avoid late night withdrawals, even for small amounts.
This alone can save you a surprising amount of money in Japan.
Number 11 is don't keep coins. Although Japan is transitioning towards a cashless society, cash is still king in many places. As I mentioned in a previous video, it's essential to carry some cash during your trip. Luckily, exchanging money into Japanese yen is easy with currency exchange counters available at airports and throughout cities. However, here's an important tip: most currency exchange services in Japan don't accept coins. If you're left with small coins at the end of your trip, you won't be able to exchange them back into your local currency. This often leaves tourists scrambling to use up coins at the airport, sometimes on vending machines or capsule toy machines. To avoid this, try to use your coins throughout your trip for small purchases. Alternatively, opt for credit cards or IC cards like Suica for payments whenever possible. That said, cash is still a must in Japan.
For tips on how to obtain and manage cash, please check out my previous video.
Number 12 is Japan's unique payment etiquette. One thing that often surprises visitors in Japan is the unique way money is exchanged during payments at convenience stores, restaurants, and other places. Instead of handing cash or cards directly to the staff, you'll use a small tray placed at the cashier. This custom is unique to Japan and is not commonly seen in other countries. Having traveled to 75 countries myself, I can confidently say this practice stands out. It's not only a polite gesture, but also ensures smoother and more organized transactions. When paying, place your cash or coins on the tray rather than giving them directly to the staff. Similarly, your change or receipt will often be placed on the tray for you to take. This small action reflects the emphasis on respect and order in Japanese culture.
By understanding and following this custom, you can immerse yourself more in Japanese culture and enjoy its unique tradition.
Number 13 is restaurant payment rules, cashier or table. One thing that often surprises my guests as a tour guide is how payments are handled at restaurants in Japan. Unlike many countries where you pay at the table, in Japan, it's common to walk up to the register to settle your bill. While some restaurants do offer table payment, about 60% of the time, you'll need to go to the cashier to pay. Fast food chains like McDonald's or Starbucks, however, follow the familiar global system where you pay at the counter before receiving your order. So, the payment method can vary depending on the type of restaurant you visit.
To avoid confusion, always take a moment to observe or ask about the payment process.
Number 14 is hidden restaurant etiquette. Did you know that Japan has a unique gesture for asking for the bill at restaurants? I've traveled to 75 countries and haven't seen this anywhere else. It's truly a special part of Japanese culture. In most countries, crossing your index fingers into an X shape means no or not allowed. However, in Japan, this same gesture has a completely different meaning at restaurants. It's how you signal, check, please. This small but practical gesture is incredibly helpful for foreign travelers who may not speak Japanese. Instead of struggling to communicate, you can simply make the X sign with your fingers, and the staff will understand that you're ready to pay. Next time you're dining out in Japan, try this out.
It's a fun and efficient way to experience Japan's unique culture while making your trip smoother.
Number 15 is choose wrong hotel location. One of the biggest mistakes tourists make in Japan is choosing a hotel only because it's cheap without considering the location. Japanese travelers don't just look at the price, they think about convenience too. For example, one of my American friends booked a budget hotel in Chiba, outside of Tokyo. The room was cheaper, but every day it took more than an hour just to reach the city center. And the extra train fares completely erased the savings. Some visitors even stay near Narita Airport, thinking it's close to Tokyo, but Narita is actually about 2 hours away, which makes it a terrible base for sightseeing. So, where should you stay instead? I know it's not easy to figure out if you don't know the local geography. That's why I made a separate video where I share the best areas and hotels in Tokyo and Osaka. Make sure to check it out so you can enjoy your trip to the fullest.
How was today's video? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like button. See you in my next video. Bye!